Carbide lathe chisels are a wonderful tool for beginners and veterans alike. They have quite a hard carbide tip which stays sharper for longer than high-speed steel. The cutter angle means that you just need to hold the tool flat. You don't need any particularly fancy techniques. And sharpening, well, generally you don't sharpen them, you actually rotate them to a fresh edge and then just replace the insert at the end. The main downside to carbide chisels is their cost. Not only do you have to replace the tip when it wears out, but the actual chisel itself is quite expensive. This one here from Easy Wood Tools cost as much as 2 chisels that I made myself that work, well, actually better than this one. Let me show you how I made them. You will need bar stock, either round or square, some cutting fluid, a tap wrench, tap, matching drill bit, as well as an automatic centre punch, a file, some epoxy, some wood for the handle, some copper pipe for your ferrule, and finally a carbide cutter and screw to hold it in. I'm making 2 chisels today, one with 4140 round bar stock and the other with square stainless steel. I start off by cutting a square blank for the round bar and then a slightly wider cut for the square bar. I then split the handle for the square bar down the middle. As it would be difficult to drill a square hole for the square bar, I route a channel at the router table for the bar to sit in. I can then glue the 2 halves up using the square bar as a key to help with alignment and a lot of clamps. While that dries, I cut a copper plumbing connector in half to use in my ferrules. I also trimmed the corners off the blank for the round bar to make an octagon, making it easier to rough into a cylinder. Once the blank is round, I can put it in a 4-jaw chuck and drill a 1/2-inch hole for the bar to go into. Then I turned another tenon for the ferrule to be glued onto. I bought some West System epoxy specifically for this project, and it's the first time I've used it. I really like the pumps for measuring out the exact ratios, but it was a little bit more than I needed, so I used the excess to fill in some of the sap veins and holes in the wood. Then it was a matter of turning it down to a shape that the wife liked. These chisels, after all, were for her. We went with something that's similar to the Easy Wood Tools handle shapes, with a couple of steps in it so that you can feel how far your hands are down the handle before you actually get right to the end. I really didn't enjoy turning with the camera in the position it was. The tripod felt like it kept getting in the way. Eventually I might have to make some sort of mount that comes out from the wall. I finished the handles with 2 coats of shellac. It's a nice looking finish that's easy to apply and easy to repair. While the handles were drying, it was time to get the metal ready. I marked out 12mm back and about 3mm down for the pocket for the carbide insert. I treated it like it was a tenon, using a hacksaw to establish a line and then filing away the rest. After I was satisfied with the pocket, it was time to drill the hole. The cutters I bought came with a screw, so I bought an number 8 32 tap with the corresponding drill bit, which is apparently a number 29. This hole goes all the way through so that enough of the threads will engage with the screw. When tapping, it's important to use cutting fluid and take it slow, reversing often to break the chips. This is especially important in stainless steel, otherwise you will break your tap, not that I know from experience. Then the parts were glued together with more epoxy. Altogether, each chisel will end up costing me about 50 Australian dollars, as I bought 5 cutters. The large Easywood tool chisels in Australia will set you back about $240, so I think I've come out just slightly ahead there. This is actually surprisingly fun and not too difficult to make. The main problem was I don't have a vast collection of grinding tools, so making the little pocket for the cutters was a tiring process, and this is the first time I've tapped particularly hard metal. Getting the cutting fluid made all the difference.